This week comes with a heavy heart. Sadly, my grandmother died on the 19th of July, joining my grandfather who died 2 years previously, back in April 2023.
And in this week's episode, we really want to celebrate the legacy of everything that they achieved at Chavenage over the last 67 years, not just for the estate, but for the wider community as well.
And I guess they're the real reason we're here today. We hope you enjoy. Let's roll the clocks back to a time when my grandmother and grandfather had just returned after their 6-month-long honeymoon. My grandmother was just 22 and my grandfather 25. They were eager to take responsibility of Chavenage House and were welcomed in by a team. They had an agent, a butler, cooks, they had dairy foremen, shepherds, pigmen, gardeners, and the list goes on. But most importantly, they had a passion for the house, a passion that would define their lives for the next 65 plus years, and a love that would transform the house, but also the wider estate. The garden back then looked very different. There was a path going around the perimeter of the garden and there were 2 grass tennis courts just over there. Now my grandmother found a lot of joy and peace in the garden, but she didn't get overwhelmed with the large space. No, she decided to be specific and focus her time and energy on the garden around the house, primarily in the rose garden just over there. Now, while she was doing that, my grandfather spent so much time on the lawnmower. He loved it, and I guess that's exactly where my father gets it from. He also told me a story that there were once cart horses pulling old lawnmowers. And in order not to damage the turf, they used to wrap their hooves in hessian sacks. How times have changed. Over the years, Grandma and Grandpa decided to open up the house to the public, giving people the opportunity to experience the incredible history within these walls. What began as a plan to open just 2 days a week in the early 1970s soon blossomed into something so much bigger. They decided to move to the back end, the former servants' quarters of the house, so that the front could be enjoyed by visitors and for the events. This shift marked the beginning of what would become a business: tours, groups, weddings, and so much more. Grandpa was eager to tell the history of the house. He was incredible at telling stories, bringing history to life, weaving in a little extra flair and not letting the truth get in the way of a good story. He was able to bring it to life for the young and the old, but for me, he really ignited the passion for the estate and the house. While my grandfather was conducting the tours in the nearby rooms, my grandmother was found here, playing a supportive role. Now, with her Scottish blood, she was making sure she got money for her guidebooks, the estate marmalade and honey made by my Aunt Bindi, and most importantly, taking in the entry fee. And I remember vividly sitting with her, counting all the pennies and pounds, just to check how we did that day. And it's very quiet without her. Through Grandpa's hours and hours of rummaging up in the attic, Chavenage made its most famous discovery. It is, of course, the drawings for the redecoration of Windsor Castle, all commissioned by George IV. Now, these all went to a private auction conducted by Sotheby's, and the Queen, for the royal collection, decided to take the entirety. I should say almost the entirety, because my grandfather decided to keep a few back for Chavanage's own collection. We've got that one, and rather cheekily, my grandfather kept this one as well. And I, for one, am glad he did so. Now, the proceeds went to the redoing of the roof, that I thank Grandpa every single day, and also a little bit of leftover cash went into his beloved squash court. They worked side by side on the farm. My grandfather oversaw the management of the arable and the livestock, while my grandmother was particularly interested in the breeding of the herd of black and whites. She worked absolutely tirelessly from dawn until dusk, despite having a team of staff to do it for her. She liked doing the breeding and also keeping up all the necessary records, and I particularly remember her delivering the calves on a Friday to the Chippenham market in her little white van. They also welcomed many film productions too. Casualty, Barry Lyndon, the cast of Grace and Favour, Poirot, and the list goes on. It was like the film production staff became members of the family, and Grandpa was often found in the catering trailer, sitting next to the actors enjoying a cheeky slice of apple pie. I think that was his biggest plus of having the film productions here. Grandma and Grandpa also raised their 3 children here, George, Caroline and Joanna. What an incredible place to grow up. This was their nursery, and you can still see their name painted on the drawers here. Now what's incredible is that they must have felt the love and devotion that Grandma and Grandpa had put into the estate and the grounds, and decided to dedicate their lives to looking after the estate too and moving it into the next generation. And they're still here to this very day. If you're familiar with the channel, you'll know of the incredible legacy my grandfather left behind, hidden in the attic. It is, of course, the incredible model railway, and I, for one, have been loving working on this project and bringing it back to life. But it's not quite the same. My grandmother had a deep love for horses, and she bred many in this field behind me. Some actually that my grandfather used in the local point-to-point. She always had a pony to hand for her children, and then later us, her grandchildren. We hosted the Pony Club Week for many years, and we also hosted the Chavenage one-day event that many still remember to this very day, and some famous eventers started their journey right here at Chavenage. Over the years, there's been countless events, tours, weddings, and so much more. And today, we as a family want to say a heartfelt thank you to both Grandma and Grandpa for their contributions to the estate, and the people they have touched will live on.
They will be hugely missed, but their legacy will continue down to the next generation and beyond. The most important, that Chavenage remains very much a family home.
It's like we got some big shoes to fill.
Really big.
Yeah.